According to the World Health Organization, every 40 seconds, someone in the world takes their own life. And new research points to a disturbing trend. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration shows that suicide rates have increased in every state in the last 20 years. Burl CEO CJ Davis joins us on World Suicide Prevention Day to discuss suicide awareness and prevention. CJ, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So September is Suicide Prevention Month. Is bringing awareness to this issue even more important this year because of the pandemic?
Yeah, it's ironic that we're talking about this on World Suicide Prevention Day, and we have seen a dramatic increase, especially during the pandemic. We've been talking for months now that we needed to flatten the curve, the health curve, the number of viruses that are spread throughout our community. But the second curve really is the mental health curve. And that's the corresponding second public health crisis that's already hitting our area. And that's folks struggling with depression, anxiety, and of course, an increase in suicidal ideations or thoughts of hurting themselves.
With the ongoing pandemic, it's brought on a sense of doom or hopelessness for a lot of people. What do you want people that are struggling to know?
Well, first of all, isolation, we're not built to isolate. And unfortunately, during the pandemic, we've all been asked to isolate. We're not wired that way. What I ask and encourage everybody who's experiencing any sort of mental health symptom, especially during these tough times and these stressful times, is really to reach out and engage in care or seek care. It's extremely easy to receive service right now in the mental health space. That's the first thing. The second thing is everybody can be the one that talks to or supports that individual that's experiencing some sort of self-harm. We know if you have one person that is supportive of you, that dramatically decreases your chance of wanting to take your life.
So for people that maybe that supportive person, what are some warning signs that they can look out for in their friends and family?
Yeah, they're general warning signs. I mean, one of the myths of mental health, or of suicide rather, is people believe that only those folks that have mental health conditions are the ones that actually take their life. And only about 50% of the folks that have a suicide attempt have a mental health condition. But some of the typical signs associated with somebody who's suicidal is, one, they start to have some changes in their sleep and their appetite. They start to probably see some changes in depressive symptoms where they don't experience joy. They've probably had some isolation in their life. They probably feel extremely hopeless. And often we find is that they have interpersonal loss, especially in the adolescent populations. And so if somebody has any of those sorts of signs, and they're starting to put their things in order, they're giving away their prized possessions, or they're gifting people some things that are important to them, those are really sort of traditional signs of suicide.
Absolutely. Now, I mentioned that the suicide rate has increased over the past 20 years. Why do you think that is, and what group is most at risk?
Yeah, I wish that's the million-dollar question. And really what we know, there's no one culprit, no one distinguishing research body of evidence that says this group is more susceptible than that group. I mean, we know that there are health factors, there are physical factors, there are environmental factors that certainly play a role, and also historic factors of individuals that play a role into suicide. We've seen suicide increase almost two times. And in our area, that's very concerning because we know in Greene County specifically, we have a higher suicide rate than any other county and higher than average in the state of Missouri and higher than the national average. But there's no one reason, there's no one why.
Okay, and data also has revealed that the military and veteran suicide rate is 50% higher than that of civilians. What can we do to lower that rate?
Yeah, we need to be there for each other, of course. And if you have somebody who is a veteran or somebody who has served in the armed forces, one of the things that they often experience is post-traumatic stress disorder. And traumatic stress and substance abuse, which we know happens in our veterans populations, that automatically makes them load more heavily on risk for suicide.
So we talked about populations that are at risk of suicidal thoughts and suicide. Are there any trends that you're seeing that are particularly concerning?
Yeah, there are a ton of trends out there right now. It's interesting if you look at the number of people that have a concern about their mental health right now. Generally, it's somewhere around 10 or 15%. Now we're seeing those concerns about our mental health during the pandemic to skyrocket sometimes up into the 60 percentile in terms of 60% of people are concerned about a mental health symptoms that are experiencing. We're really seeing an uptick in suicide for adolescents. We're seeing an uptick in suicide for people between the ages of 18 and 24. Of course, that is concerning. And we also know that that age group has had a significant increase comparing this year to last year, and individuals even considering suicide in the last 30 days.
So what resources are available at Burrell for people that are having suicidal thoughts?
Well, you can always access our walk-in clinic. We have a walk-in clinic that you can come in Monday through Friday. That's really important. We know that one of the reasons why that people often consider suicide is they don't see other options. And historically, there have been long wait times to get into a mental health professional, and access has been an extreme problem. Today, here in our area, you can walk in and get seen immediately. That's the first piece. The second piece is a few months ago, we developed a behavioral crisis center. And what that is for anybody experiencing an addictions or psychiatric emergency, we have a facility that's open 24/7, 365 that allows you to walk in and get care up to 23 hours. You can learn about all these resources through our website at burrellcenter.com.
All right, CJ, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll have more Ozarks Tonight coming up after the break.